Welcome everybody to my WWE Elimination Chamber 2018 predictions. So let's just get right into it. Very first match, which I assume is going to be Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt, broken Matt Hardy, in a very unfortunately boring feud, I guess I should say, with Bray having an awesome character and broken Matt Hardy being the spectacle that he used to be. This has just not worked out the way it should have, and I'm not really surprised. I don't know if anybody's surprised. Broken Matt Hardy, I didn't think had a chance in the WWE. It's just the campiness and the ridiculousness of what it was in TNA is just not going to fly in WWE, unfortunately. The only good thing we've gotten out of it, really, I think, is Matt's entrance theme, and which I think is really cool. It sounds like a crazy Castlevania-style boss battle, epic orchestra music, so that's great. But this has just been them laughing back and forth, and them just the matches haven't been great. I don't know. I don't even know why this is getting a match at Elimination Chamber. They've already wrestled a few times. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say Bray Wyatt is going to win, but I don't know if anybody really cares at this point. This is going to be a short video, probably, because this is actually a really small match card. I'm curious to see if they will include the Bar in a match somehow, maybe defending the tag team titles against Gallows and Anderson, maybe against the Revival. I don't really know what's going on there. I wouldn't be shocked to see an impromptu tag team match, but as of right now, there's really only, aside from the matches that we know about, we have the Ronda Rousey contract signing. So we'll see what goes on there. But as of right now, I think there's just the men's chamber match, the women's chamber match, Nia Jax versus Asuka, and then Bray and Matt. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so my first official prediction is going to be Bray Wyatt walks away with the win here. I hope he wins. He needs it more because I don't think broken Matt Hardy is going anywhere. And Bray Wyatt needs to go up, and up. And him losing a feud against Matt would just not... I don't know if he can... His win-loss record can't really be hurt any more than what it already is. Bray's, anyway. But we can't make it any worse. Bray needs to go on the upswing. He still has potential. And he still has that top star quality in him. I think Harper and Rowan over on SmackDown have been showing it with the Bludgeon Brothers. They've really kicked it into a new gear. Braun Strowman obviously started out as a Wyatt family member, is now being shot to the moon. So I think Bray still has that potential there. Please win this feud against Matt Hardy. All right, and then next we will most likely have our Ronda Rousey contract signing. And of course, a WWE contract signing is never just going to go perfectly smooth. There's a few things that can happen here. The thing I hope they don't go with is pairing her up with a legend like The Rock or Kurt Angle to take on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania. I think that has potential to be a cool match, but I don't want Ronda to come in being a, just a special event main attraction, or not main attraction, because I think she can be a main attraction eventually. Obviously, she already is. But I want her to be placed into a WWE women's wrestler role. I don't want her to just be I'm only here to do things when it's special. I'm only here to show up against, in a celebrity format. I want her to be she said that she's doing, that this is her life now, and she's doing a full-time WWE contract. So she needs to just have a singles match, I think, against somebody who is reputable. Her beating Stephanie McMahon isn't really going to do much, I don't think. So I think Charlotte Flair needs to come out and challenge her. The only thing I'm torn on that is I can't see Ronda going to SmackDown. It would be weird for them to not put her on Raw, just because Raw is obviously the main show, and they like to just stack it with as much as they can. So Ronda going to Raw is, I think, most likely. However, I think Charlotte Flair really needs a competitor. Obviously, she's the women's champion, but she needs a competitor for WrestleMania. SmackDown Live isn't really setting up for that yet. They're still setting up Fastlane. So I think Ronda is going to be a great WrestleMania match against Charlotte. It's going to be crazy if Ronda's first match is against Charlotte and she beats her. like at WrestleMania to win the title in her first match, but I think Ronda has built up enough of a reputation for herself that it wouldn't be too crazy. She's not just some random person off the block that's getting pushed to the moon. She's a very decorated UFC fighter, and we know that she has in-ring skills, despite the fact that her last 2 fights in UFC were train wrecks. Well, her last one was a train wreck. Her getting beat by Holly Holm was fine. That was a good fight at least, but her last fight against Nunes was bad. So hopefully she can make up some ground there and put on a good match with Charlotte Flair. That's what I want her to. That's what I want to see from Ronda. I want to see a good WWE match. So I think with this, my prediction is that Charlotte is going to come out there and confront her, and that's what we're going to be setting up for WrestleMania. And then maybe for the short term, Ronda will be on SmackDown and then go to Raw. But we'll see what goes from there. And then sticking with the women, we have our last one-on-one match, Nia Jax versus Asuka. Asuka's undefeated streak against the Irresistible Force, or whatever they're calling Nia Jax these days. I think this is a good match because I think Nia definitely has the build and the strength and the power and the ability right now to beat Asuka. So I like that I'm not going in knowing that Asuka's going to win, but I'm going in like 95% sure that Asuka's going to win. So my prediction here is that Asuka's going to win, because going into WrestleMania with the undefeated streak on the line, I think that's really important. And Nia, I don't think has, it's hard to say earned or hasn't earned the ability or the right to take away Asuka's streak, because I don't know if anyone right now can, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. She can keep that streak going for a long time. So Nia winning this, I just don't see that happening. Asuka is my official prediction there. I think it's going to be a good match though. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. Nia's really stepped it up over the past month or two, and she's going to give Asuka a great run for her money, and it's going to be definitely the best non-elimination chamber match, because it's not even like, I don't know, that's not even really living up to anything high. But yeah, so Asuka comes out with a victory there. She's going to keep her momentum going into WrestleMania with the undefeated streak. She obviously, if she doesn't lose here, she won't lose before WrestleMania, and I guess I won't say that she won't lose at WrestleMania, because we'll see how it goes from there, what it goes from there. And sticking with the women, I guess the Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy match might not be first, because we're going to have 3 segments in a row featuring women, which is totally fine. But next we would have the women's first ever women's Elimination Chamber match to determine who Asuka is facing at the Royal Rumble. Oh yeah, and another thing with the Nia Jax and Asuka match is, I like the stipulation that Nia could insert herself into the WrestleMania main event, but it would kind of screw Asuka over, because she went through all that she went through to win the Royal Rumble just for Nia to be able to insert herself that way. So I actually don't like that idea at all. So I like that, just keeping Asuka's Royal Rumble match win clean, and then going against the champion at WrestleMania in a one-on-one match, how it's supposed to be. I know it doesn't always go that way, but in this instance, I like the idea. And speaking of that, I think the winner going into WrestleMania from this Elimination Chamber match is actually going to be Alexa Bliss. So I think she has the best chance of winning it. She is the champion, and I know the champion always has, they are always talked about at least being at a disadvantage going into a big multi-woman match like this. But just looking at everybody else, I don't think Mickie James screams WrestleMania main event. Mandy Rose is still really new. Sonya Deville is still really new. Bayley and Sasha, obviously they have bigger names, and they can main event WrestleMania. And I'm saying main event in quotes. I know that the women's title match isn't going to be the main event. It could be someday. Nothing wrong with it, of course. But it's just, with the names that the guys have right now, it's just going to be much, much bigger. Like if there was whoever Brock Lesnar is going to go against is obviously going to be the main event. But I think Sasha Banks has the second best chance, but I really just think they're going to keep it with Alexa Bliss, because Sasha could do a heel turn, and then we could have heel Sasha versus face Asuka. And that would be a great match, but I think Asuka versus Alexa Bliss, I think you can book it. That's our WrestleMania women's main event. And I'm really, really looking forward to this Elimination Chamber match. The women tore the house down with the Royal Rumble back in January last month, and I think they can do it once again in this chamber match. You know that they're going to put out all the stops. I'm sure we're going to be worried that Sasha dies like 3 times in this match, because her bumps look insane when she takes them, and I know that she's going to do something ridiculous in this match. She's going to look like she broke her back 8 different times. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sonya Deville really break out and show her brutal fighting ability. Yeah, I think Alexa and Sasha will be the last two out there, and Alexa is going to pull it out. And I hope she does it in a good, defining way, because she's been really stepping up, and she's had the title for a long time. And if they want us to believe that she can beat Asuka at WrestleMania, she really, really needs to show out for this chamber match. So Alexa Bliss is your winner. And then finally, the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber match. John Cena, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Elias, and Finn Balor. I just want to say, since I didn't do a Raw recap this week, I think Seth Rollins put on one of the greatest performances in Monday Night Raw history. I know it's not saying much because a lot of people, I mean, it's saying a ton, obviously, but I know, like, I'm not really blowing anybody's mind with that phrase because a lot of people have said it already. But Seth was in the ring for well over an hour. He defeated Roman Reigns and John Cena clean, back to back. And he's the kind of guy with the ability and the moveset to make something like that interesting. Can you imagine if it was Roman Reigns or John Cena that was the one doing that for 90 minutes or however long he was, 70 minutes, however long he was out there? That would be a bore fest. But Seth Rollins was able to come out there and make it interesting the entire time and make it believable. Everything that he was going through, with the leg injury that they were talking about the whole time, and just the entire match was put together so well. I loved seeing a different Raw for once, where we have a 90-minute gauntlet match that never happens. I thought Monday Night Raw this week was incredible, and Seth Rollins was the main attraction for that one. Braun Strowman winning it I'm totally fine with that too, because you know that, like, having Seth run through Roman and John like that is great. But then if he were to somehow go through the whole thing, especially with Braun Strowman being there, that'd be a little much. So I loved how they did it. Everything was perfect. Everyone looked like they're ready to go for Elimination Chamber, and Braun Strowman came out on top and destroyed the Miz Taraj. It was set up. It was perfect. So bravo for that gauntlet match. Let me give you a little round of applause there, WWE, for that amazing gauntlet match. But on to the Elimination Chamber. The only person who there's two people who I think have absolutely no chance of winning this. And that's Elias, unfortunately, because he's my guy. Elias is awesome, but I think it's too soon, and there's no way that they're going to have Elias versus Brock Lesnar. I keep wanting to say Braun Strowman for Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar versus Elias as a WrestleMania main event. I don't think they're going to do that, and that's fine. It's a little early. It's okay. I'm glad that at least Elias is in this because he's awesome. And then The Miz, for pretty much the same reason. Or no, obviously not the same reason, because it's not too soon, because he hasn't been around. He's been around for a long time, but he's already the Intercontinental Champion. Nobody will think he has a chance against Brock Lesnar. They addressed this on Raw. I like that they talked about that, how he's willing to do what nobody else will do to win. I really like that part of his character, and I like that he knows that. It just adds something to his character, where we might be thinking, if they build it up right, maybe he does have a chance against Brock Lesnar, but he doesn't. He wouldn't win, and he's not going to win this match. It just doesn't scream WrestleMania main event like the WWE is going to want. So that brings us to Finn Balor, John Cena, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. The next guy I'm going to cross off the list, unfortunately, my favorite guy in WWE right now, Seth Rollins. We already had Rollins versus Lesnar before. Rollins and Lesnar have been in a few matches before. Rollins is just now back on the upswing. I think he's killing it. He's the top guy in the company for me personally. It's probably a tie between him and Braun Strowman. But I just don't think that they're going to give it to him this year. It just doesn't seem like it's in the cards. Hopefully afterwards he will still remain in that main event picture. If he even starts going for the Intercontinental title, that would be great, because seeing him with that would... It just sucks that the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship, no matter how much prestige is being brought onto them, no matter how much people talk about wanting to win those titles, they still seem like such step downs. So maybe if Seth can make that his goal, to make the Intercontinental title really, really mean something, but I don't know if it ever will. But just hopefully Seth can take a good, clean loss here and recover from it and stay at the level that he was at last week. Because if he can ride that out, then I could see him being champion soon, but not WrestleMania soon. Next guy I'm going to cross off the list is John Cena. Because if John Cena wins, John versus Brock at WrestleMania is just, nobody wants to see it. Brock destroying Cena at SummerSlam a few years ago was great. It was enough. It was the start of Suplex City. And I just think they'd be beating over the head, like just beating a dead horse way too bad with this one. We've had enough of Cena. We've seen enough, of course. And I just don't see them doing it. And John's whole story about how I don't have a road to WrestleMania without this, I don't buy that. Nobody's going to buy that. He's obviously going to be at WrestleMania. I do, however, I kind of liked his little spin around non-John Cena-ish line that he had in his interview. He said that Seth beat him because Seth is able to just focus on wrestling. And that's all he has to do. And then Cena has to worry about everything else. So that's a little bit of an underhanded statement that John pulled, that we don't really see that from him very often. He's usually your no excuses guy, but he came out and he basically had an excuse of, I've been in Hollywood, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, and Seth can just train. And I liked seeing that part of Cena. It was just nice to see something different, I guess. It, like, coming from a kayfabe point, it would make me say, like, oh, okay, so you have to come up with an excuse as to why you lost, of course. But I hope that wasn't just a throwaway line, and we start to see a little bit of a different side of Cena coming out of this. So that leaves me with Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Finn Balor. Between these three guys, who I'm going to say I want to have win is Braun Strowman. That's for sure. He's my, aside from like everything that I said about Rollins, Braun Strowman is right up there. He's the most fun part of Monday Night Raw every single week. He's by far the most believable guy, I think, to beat Brock Lesnar. The only thing is that I hate that Brock has already beaten Braun one-on-one very recently. So it's going to be hard to sell that again and have us think like, okay, this is the time that Braun's going to win. However, Braun is, if it was possible, even at a higher spot than he was last time that they fought. So I think it's time for them to give Braun the belt, and they should have it on him for a long time. And I think winning it at WrestleMania like that against Lesnar would be awesome. It wouldn't even make Lesnar look that bad. Like, they've been building him up as a mythical creature, basically, for years and years since he beat Brock. Basically, his whole career, he's been looked at as this unstoppable guy. And then obviously, of course, ending the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. I think Braun is absolutely lined up to be able to beat Brock Lesnar and have it be 100% believable. No questions asked. He's unstoppable. And I think Finn Balor might be able to have a more interesting match with Brock Lesnar. But I think if Braun and Lesnar go out there and have 100 miles per hour, it can even be a short match like Goldberg versus Brock. I think Goldberg and Lesnar was a great match, how they set that up and how it was just quick. You don't want to see those two guys. Well, I mean, Brock Lesnar could definitely go out and have a great technical wrestling match if he wanted to, but Goldberg's not going to. So you want to see those guys just kill each other for 5 minutes. And same thing with Braun and Brock. They're going to go out there and I want them to go ham, just absolutely all out. Every move, the whole time. You don't need crazy technical wrestling. That's not what you're going to get from these guys, so I don't see why they have to try it. But if they make it a spectacle of a fight, it could be absolutely glorious, and I think that's what would be best. And Roman Reigns, I just don't want to see it again. I don't want to see him in the WrestleMania main event again. I don't even hate Roman that much like other people do, but it's just not this time. So my prediction for your Raw Elimination Chamber main event, whatever you want to call it, just kind of spewing right now, Braun Strowman is going to win. So that's it. That's my predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen? Let me know down at the bottom. Let me know who you think is going to win. Let me know who you want to win. And by the way, I was going to do who I wanted to win versus who I think is going to win, but I actually kind of went down the card this time with who I wanted to win and who I think is going to win. So hopefully my biases didn't really hurt me there. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Hope you enjoyed listening to all my thoughts, and please subscribe right here on youtube.com/MediaMiller for more videos like this one, and for videos of me talking or sharing pretty much anything and everything that I want to talk about or share. So thank you very much for watching, you beautiful listener, and until next time, I'm out.